affecting your brain, and not in a good way. Investigative reporter Steve Brown is here to explain how.
Mary Ellis, it's undeniable that smartphones are changing us. I say that as the owner of 2 smartphones. To help us understand, we talk with the man who arguably has spent the most time studying this phenomenon, and we asked him. Are smartphones making us stupid?
Well, I think that is the question.
Nicholas Carr, for over a decade, has been examining how technology changes the user. In 2008, Carr questioned whether Google was making us stupid. That led to his Pulitzer Prize-nominated book, The Shallows, about how the internet actually rewires the human brain.
I think everything I talked about has been accelerated and exaggerated by the rise of the smartphone. We're connected with this very powerful technology that is interrupting us, distracting us, pretty much literally our entire waking lives.
There's a growing pile of research suggesting Carr is right. A Gallup poll found 81% of Americans have their phone on and near them every minute they are awake. 52% check their smartphone at least multiple times an hour. And all that phone checking is rewiring your brain. Here's how. Every time your brain experiences something new, a new combination of brain cells called neurons gets connected. When that happens, it triggers a release of a chemical called dopamine, which makes us feel happy. That's the incentive to go back and repeat that activity, playing with your phone. Do it often enough, and that connection gets stronger, rewiring your brain. Now, when this happens, it's not always for the better. California researchers found more screen time equals less sleep and poorer quality sleep. A Japanese study found the mere presence of a smartphone can be a distraction to a user. And at the University of Missouri, researchers found when separated from their phones, users had significant increases in anxiety, heart rate, and blood pressure, which got us wondering, can people get addicted to their smartphones?
I believe they actually can. People certainly find themselves frightened when they feel they've misplaced their phone, like just the threat of withdrawal, the threat of not being in contact with their phone makes them a little squirrely. I don't think I have a phone dependence problem, but I'll admit when working, I'm on my 2 smartphones a lot. So are our anchors.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Scott Levin.
And I'm Mary Ellis Demler.
During shows and when we go to commercial break, they go to their smartphones. Our jobs require being active on social media. But what we're finding is that Americans with smartphones socialize nonstop.
These days, you can socialize all the time. As long as your phone is around, you know, the moment you feel slightly bored, you grab the phone and start socializing.
But doctors are finding for young people with smartphones, all that social media using is leaving them short when it comes to important social skills. Do you see things like failure to sustain eye contact?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would say that's one of the biggest things with younger populations, and it's uncomfortable for them because they don't have to make eye contact to get their needs met.
Do you see problems with that, associated with that?
Well, when you interview for your first job, it will probably not be with a computer.
No, it won't be. We reported just 2 months ago how local employers were having a difficult time these days finding candidates with soft skills, including the ability to communicate effectively with other people. Doctors are seeing these fundamental skills eroding, and at least some of that is attributed to our reliance on our fifth limb, smartphones.
That's a good way of putting it.
Not my term, but I certainly was happy to borrow it.
Sure, and now we've got a lot of nervous parents out there with kids who have smartphones. Is there anything that the experts say they can or should be doing?
It requires parents to model good behavior, so there's going to be some pain for them too. For starters, don't sleep with your phone, and don't let your kids do it either. Designate one place where everybody docks their phones overnight. Chances are, if the phone rings, you'll hear it and you'll sleep better without the phone in your room. Also, create phone-free zones in your home. A suggestion, the kitchen or dining room table, wherever it is that you eat your meals, instead of fiddling with your phone, you could talk with each other instead. And find a regular activity where you are free from your phone. I ride my bike and I love not having to deal with either of these phones for an hour, 2 or 3. It may not be easy, but it is simple. The choice is yours. Manage the phone
or it will manage you.
You know what? It bothered me this last holiday to see so many of my nieces and nephews on it. So guess what, Demlers? It's now a phone-free zone on holidays.
You've been warned. That's a good idea.
I'm going to practice what I preach.
Take a vacation from your phone. You will be a better person, and your brain will be better for it.
And children will follow. Great story.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Steve. Scott?
Yeah, terrific report. Thank you, Mary Alice and Steve. And you know, every time we go over to the weather maps, Kevin O'Connell always has a clicker in his hand to change the maps.
Yeah.